Hey guys, I just wanted to throw out a video with an update on my health issues. Just want to say, hey guys, thanks for being here, first of all, and thanks for following this journey. I've gotten an overwhelming amount of support. I appreciate that greatly. My intention of this video is to just update you guys, to let you guys know what's been going on with my health related issues, since my other interests and stuff like that are tangential on my YouTube channel. Forgive me, I'm kind of tired and my allergies are getting the better of me this morning, even though I'm taking my allergy meds, but still pretty awful. And you might hear my daughter in the background potentially. She's below my feet, stinking it up, poopy diapering. So, as far as my symptoms are concerned, I haven't really had any type of progression or reduction. It's been about the same. It seemed like I had a little bit of a reduction for a while, and then it comes back, and it seems to always follow that pattern. You think you get them a little less, and then they come back. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So I'm going to stop with this whole, it's not really a charade because it's not intentional, but I'm going to stop with this whole idea that that my symptoms are getting better, because they're not. But they're not really getting worse either. They're just kind of stagnant. My symptoms are as follows. Sorry, and I'm trying to use kind of a prompt here so that I can recall what I'm saying and not go on tangents and not get lost in the weeds. My symptoms are as follows. I have the chronic muscle twitching all over, all the time. Multiple hundreds, if not thousands of times a day, depending on the day and depending on where they're at, depending on if I have a hot spot or not. But mostly they are single pops that are all around my body. I'll get a couple hits, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 in, like today, it's my forearm right around here, and it'll kind of make my fingers move because it's like deep down into those, like when you go like this with your fingers, you can feel those muscles move. I'll get them in there. I've been getting them in there for 2 days now. And then I get them on my left hand, my left leg. At least that's where I've been getting them recently. Besides that, I have single one-off pops everywhere. I'll get them throughout the day in my lips, in my eyes, in my shoulders, in my belly, in my chest, in my feet. That's another, seems to be a very active spot, or my feet and my calves. Just my legs in general are pretty active. My glutes, my quads, around my knees, in my calves, my feet, the backs of my legs. So they're pretty active everywhere, but they most seem to be more active in my legs. And they're all the time, hundreds of times a day, if not thousands of times, just depending. Like I said, if I have a hot spot, where, for those who aren't aware, like a spot that kind of continuously fires for like a day or 2 or 3 or maybe a week, then of course it's going to be thousands of twitches. But sometimes I don't have those. Sometimes I don't have hot spots, and I'll just have the random pops everywhere else. And so those probably, those have got to amount to 1,000 over the day, because, you know, if you imagine you're twitching once every 60 seconds, which is about the chronicity of my twitches, is about every 60 seconds, if not more. And you're talking about, yeah, however many minutes are in a day. And there's 60 minutes in an hour, and there's 24 hours. So yeah, so 60-ish twitch, 60 to more twitches every minute. So it just depends. Multiple hundreds, if not thousands. And then I have my visual issues, which are pattern glare. So if you look at these white letters, this is a fairly decent example. If you look at these white letters and you look at the black spacing in between them, wherever the lines are, there's small spaces in between, like where the U and the G are there, or the H, the gaps between the H. I'll get this flickering, gyrating phenomenon where the two images, like the white and the white edges and the black edges, it's like they want to jump out past each other. It's like nails on a chalkboard almost for your eyes. It's like your eyes look at patterns and go, I don't want to look at that. And it makes you squint and look away. It's horrible. So it makes reading difficult. It makes certain screens, like the way certain screens look, difficult. It's just and that's chronic. That's all the time. It just, you have to look at something that makes it happen, because it doesn't happen on all surfaces and all things, but anything that's got that kind of a dark, with a dark high contrast, dark pattern, light pattern, very close together. The closer together the gap is, the more it infuriates the eyes. Even the orange is kind of a problem, but it's less of an issue. The white and black tends to be the biggest problem. The highest of contrast, which is black and white, right? So you've got list of my symptoms. You've got the chronic muscle twitching. You've got the visual symptoms. You've got the trembling, like in my muscles. So like my legs, and everybody would be like, well, it's because you've gained weight now. But this is the thing, this developed right initially when I had the muscle twitches right after I had COVID. I had really trembly muscles that have stayed constant pretty much the whole time. If anything, since I've gained weight, they've actually gotten a little bit better, which is odd. But I remember when I first got better and I had the muscle twitches and I went back to work after I got better from COVID. I drive a manual transmission. For those who know what manual transmissions are, hi, sweetheart. When you clutch in, you got to push the clutch down, right? And when you're on your left foot, my left foot not my just left foot, but my whole left leg would just like tremble, like it was under immense strain. I've lifted weights my whole life, so it'd be like if you're trying to do a squat or trying to leg press a bunch of weight. You know how your legs tremble under weight? That's normal, but you have to normally present them with enough weight to make them tremble. But my muscles basically tremble with hardly any weight at all. So there's that. And then I have as well with those things, the things that make, if I had just that and then I had normal reflexes, not pathological reflexes, then we'd probably be fine. We wouldn't even be worried. Problem is that I have pathological reflexes, which are something that indicates upper motor neuron problems in your brain or spinal cord. So I have very brisk reflexes in my ankles and in my patellars, which are like my knee reflexes. When a doctor hits you with the rubber hammer, they do a reflex test. So I have brisk reflexes on both my knees and on both my ankles. Doctor said they're symmetrical, so I don't have to worry about them. Is that you read a lot of accounts of people who have neuromuscular disease, who have especially the big bad one, the 3-letter one, that have that same problem. And they have them bilaterally, and they'll have them all over their body, actually, not just in 2 areas, but they'll have them in both arms, both legs, whatever. It's not discriminatory in that way. As well as that, I have positive Hoffman sign, which is when you flick your finger, this to the tip of your finger here, your middle finger, you can trigger these 2 fingers, your pincer grip, to go in like that. I can't really probably simulate it on camera because you have to have like your hand fully limp and stuff like that. But that's another pathological reflex. So I have both of those. So I have brisk reflexes and Hoffman sign. Now, they say that those aren't super specific because people with anxiety disorders can have those. They can just be normal in certain people. But the problem is that with the other symptoms, they're scarier. If I just had brisk reflexes with no muscle twitching, well, then that's not scary. If I had muscle twitching without brisk reflexes, then it's not very scary. And a positive Hoffman sign. If I had positive Hoffman sign without brisk reflexes and without muscle twitching, it wouldn't be a problem. But I have all 3 of them. So that creates a scary issue as well. So visual issues, neuromuscular issues. I as well have is cognitive issues, where I just have very poor memory, working memory specifically. I'll go fill my baby's bottle up and I'll just leave the milk out. I'll forget it. I'll put tea on and I'll forget that I left it on. I'll be in the middle of a sentence and I'll forget what I was saying. And now that's the thing, is that happens to everybody. But once again, we're talking about the chronicity, how chronic and how frequent it is. Those are the problems. Whereas if it was just a couple times here and there, it wouldn't be a problem because everybody does that. I know that. Just like muscle twitches. Everybody's muscles will twitch normally. You put it under immense strain, you get an injury, you drink too much caffeine, whatever. Your muscles will twitch. But we're talking about if they've twitched every day hundreds of times for a year. It's the same thing with a stomach ache or a headache. If you have a headache that goes away and comes back, that you get a headache once a month, twice a month, 3 times a month, and then it goes away, well, that's probably indicative that it's benign. It's just you get headaches. But if you have a headache every day, forever, for 24 hours a day, and it doesn't go away, that's a symptom of potentially something wrong, and you should go to the doctor about that. Same thing with a stomach ache. If you have a stomach ache a couple times a month, you ate some spicy food, whatever, you ate some risky food, went ham on some Taco Bell, whatever, you get a tummy ache a couple times a week, that's normal. But if you have a stomach ache, if you're nauseous, or you have stomach pain 24 hours a day for a year, then you might have, not saying you do, but you might have an illness. You might have a disease. And so that's the thing, is that all of my symptoms are very constant. My muscle twitching is constant. Not a single day nor an hour has gone by when I haven't had muscle twitching. Not a day or an hour has gone by when my vision hasn't been like it is. So that's what makes us worry. That's what makes people like me, who already have an existing anxiety disorder, which I'll be honest about, but I've been on medication and it's drastically helped me. And I had all the memory issues, for those who are wondering. I had all the memory issues. I had the cognitive issues before I was on the medication. And I only took the medication as a last resort. I tried everything else. And I did a lot of research on the medication. I think I picked the best one. But whatever, this is just an update. So the visual issues, the neuromuscular issues, the reflexes, both pathological reflexes. I'm constantly feeling the need to clear my throat. I have this constant postnasal drip, just like all the time, even though I'm taking my allergy meds and stuff like that. I do live in an area where it's high allergy, and I've always had allergies, but it seems to be worse than I've ever had it for the past year. So there's issues. There are issues, and they haven't really gotten any better. The only thing that's changed is that I'm not super anxious about them because of the medication, because I haven't been like super focusing on them. I haven't been ruminating on them very much. I just know they're there. I just experience them, and it's whatever. I pray. I work on spiritual matters. I work on my YouTube channel. I've been trying to get back into certain hobbies. I've been playing video games. I've been spending time with my daughter. There's other things that I need to do. I need to progress past that. But I've actually finally, because of the meds, I've been able to break out of just the constant terror cycle that I was in. And so that has improved them slightly, because I've probably gotten better sleep. I'm just not afraid all the time. But I do acknowledge that it's probably something serious. Just because I'm not worried all the time doesn't mean that I don't think that it's serious, because I do. I do think it's something serious. I think it's only a matter of time until that comes out via the doctors. So that's the update. I'm not better. I'm the same, unfortunately. I appreciate everybody's prayers. I appreciate everybody's well wishes. If this isn't something, and I talked to a really good guy the other day who we discussed this whole thing, and he's got him really bad like I do. He's been dealing with it for, I think, 3 years, he said, almost 4 years now. And it took him almost that much time to realize that he's not dying. And maybe that's what it'll take for me. I know if 1 year has gone by, and that's helped a lot, but I'm telling you guys, if you knew what it was like to suffer with something chronic like this, and maybe you do suffer from a chronic illness, and you know how bad it is, and people don't understand because they don't experience it. I've got a buddy who's got chronic back pain, and that sounds awful. It's debilitating. And so I guess I don't have pain. I do now because I'm fat, but I don't have pain like that, debilitating pain. But, my hands will tremble and stuff, and I can't hold things. I'll drop them. I have these horrible cognitive problems now. So, and like I said, it all started right after I got COVID. That's all I know. But I'm not better. I'm the same. I'm just a little bit less freaked out. I'm trying to focus on hobbies. The other guys that I talk to that have this kind of thing pretty much say you kind of got to just go back to normal. It's hard to do that, though, because sometimes the sleep is so bad, or the twitching is so bad it keeps you up, or whatever. The vision issues are so bad that I can't do any fine work, where it's hard to see things. So read text and stuff like that. Text is the biggest problem. So, but I just want to thank everybody for their support and for their prayers. That's much appreciated. Never stop doing that. Keep praying for me and my family. It's been a devastating ride. So that's the update. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll try to answer them the best I can. In conclusion, don't take your life for granted. Don't hurt your body. Don't harm your body. Take really good care of it. Make your body a temple. Hug your wife, hug your children, hug your parents, because you just never know when lightning's going to strike. It struck me pretty bad. So I love you guys. I'm really happy the way the YouTube channel has been shaping and has been going. Been able to really mold it in my own image and really make something kind of fun out of it that I've really just been enjoying doing. So brought me a lot of joy that that's kind of been missing for for about a year. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys again soon. Love you guys. Bye.